And now, it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, rock cod Rick Maxa, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. And Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray and Rock Cod Rick Maxa.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're in the Marty 1090 studios, and today is the 24th anniversary for Let's Talk Hookup being on the air here. And more importantly, it is a tribute to our great friend, Marty Milner. A lot going on today. We're going to hear from a lot of great people out there. And, of course, you. So stay tuned. Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
The new Shimano Torium HG is here, and you'll be able to experience this fantastic reel now at your local Shimano dealer. The new Torium is up to 30% smaller than the previous generation, but still has the same line capacity. The smaller S compact body design and one-piece die-cast aluminum frame provides more rigidity and lighter weight. Torium now has EI surface treatment and is tested up to 700 times the corrosion resistance of past models. The new Shimano Torium HG is not only better on the outside, the inside is amazing, with a cross-carbon drag providing up to 24 pounds of drag pressure from a Star Drag reel. It has a sealed roller clutch and 6.2 to 1 brass gears. The machined aluminum handle has a larger knob to make it easy to crank in the big fish. The new lightweight aluminum spool gives you better casting and control. Available in 3 sizes, the Torium HG is the next evolution in compact, rigid, and powerful saltwater Star Drag reels. Get it now at your local Shimano dealers.
My angler H2O. Like the mighty flounder, I will keep one eye on the pole and the other watching for rogue waves. I'll save water by taking shorter showers and enthusiastically celebrate Talk Like a Pirate Day. I will chat up the locals before launching in unfamiliar waters. And I will always, always wear my life jacket.
What's your H2O? Tell us at BoatCalifornia.com. The California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways reminds you to wear it, California.
I'm very excited to share my experience with the new Simrad NSS Evo 2 touchscreen chart plotter and sonar unit I just installed on my boat. I've been a Simrad electronics fan for many years and always enjoyed the ease of use and incredible technology. Last year I installed the new 4G broadband radar and could not believe the difference. So this year I upgraded to the new NSS Evo 2 and it's amazing. With an easy-to-use tablet-style interface that's fresh but familiar, the Simrad NSS Evo 2 combines a multi-touch screen with push-to-select rotary dial for precision control and speedy response. The core of any marine electronic for me is how it marks fish, and the new NSS Evo 2 with built-in Sonar Hub sounder technology, including chirp and structure scan, can't be beat. Now, the true test is whether I need to pick up the manual to figure it out. And guess what? The new Simrad gear is so easy, I didn't need it. There's a lot more to the new Simrad NSS Evo 2 system I'd like to tell you, but best to just go to your local Simrad dealer and check it out. Or see simrad-yachting.com for more details. The summer fishing season this year was nothing short of incredible, and everyone I talked to is expecting continued success well into the fall season. Your San Diego County Ford dealers are having a remarkable summer too, with no sign of slowing down. They continue to hook people up with a great selection of models that offer outstanding MPG and advanced technology, like the fun-to-drive Focus and the popular Fusion, available as a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid. Ford also has an impressive list of SUVs, like Escape, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition. Well, no matter what you need, Ford has an SUV for you. And for serious fishermen that have boats to haul and gear to move, you can't beat the Ford F-150. It's not only stronger than ever, it's 700 pounds lighter, so it's faster and more efficient. Bottom line, Ford cars and trucks and SUVs are built for San Diego. Stop by your San Diego County Ford dealer today. They'll be glad to hook you up. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Pete Gray here, Rock Cod Rick Maxa here too. And yes, it is. It is today our 24th anniversary on the air. We started this show, the small radio station up in Carlsbad, California in the second week of September in 1991, and then moved it down to San Diego, first on the mighty 690, and then about 11 or 12 years ago. I'm trying to think, well, how long is it? This station's, when the station starts, like 12 years? 04, okay, very good. In 04, we moved it here to the mighty 1090, and we've been home here ever since, and it's been great. And, of course, today, just by coincidence, actually, sadly talking about our friend Marty Milner, who passed away on Sunday night, last Sunday night. And today we're going to dedicate this show and pay tribute to that great man, Marty Milner. And, Rick, you worked with Marty since you were 14 years old, right?
I got just the best memories, and it was really sad when I heard that a good friend had passed. But, you know, as you get over the sad part, you start thinking about all the fun times that you have with such a great guy. And I knew Marty longer than I didn't. You know, I mean, I've been since I was 13 or 14 years old, and you know, before I started working with you and Marty, I mean, Dad and I used to listen to the radio show. That was our Saturday and Sunday routine. We'd get up in the morning early, and Dad put on coffee, and we'd hang out in the living room and listen to the radio show, and then get in the years to go fishing with him and get to meet him and be friends with him. And he was better than a good man. He was a great man.
He was a great man, and what a great tribute to him yesterday up in Oceanside. His service yesterday, it was incredible.
So cool. I loved seeing the photos.
Yeah, it was incredible. The thing that really impressed me about that service is the dedicated police officers from Los Angeles that came down. And I was chatting with one after the show. He was a detective sergeant or a detective lieutenant maybe, up in downtown L.A., and I said, so did all of you come down as a group? And he says, no, we all came down on an individual basis. This is all our choice to be here today. And
wow.
Because we're cops today because of Marty Milner and Adam 12 and Kent McCord. And, you know, it was great to see Kent. And you'll see in the photos that I posted on our Facebook page, the old police car, the Adam 12 era police car. They brought a couple of those down, and the bagpipes, which they only give to, you know, serious,
sure,
like honorariums, you know, fallen cops and stuff like that. They were there. The L.A. bagpipe group was there, and followed into the church, and with the officers following. But in that old car, you'll see in that photo I took Bill Reinhart, or not, excuse me, not Bill Reinhart, but the creator, or not the creator. Creator, of course, was Jack Webb from Dragnet series, but he was the producer of that show, and really a great guy, and got up and gave a great talk along with Bill Reinhart, who we're going to hear later on the show, who was a technical advisor with Adam 12. Kent McCord, of course, got up and talked and gave a very emotional talk about Marty and his days with Marty and what a great man Marty was to work with. I got up there and talked about our great fishing experiences and our times with Let's Talk Hookup and such. And Uncle Al, who everybody calls him Uncle Al, is Marty, his wife Judy's brother, and Marty and he were best friends. They were very, very close. He got up there and was pretty amazing. And then the finale was Andy Milner, who's Marty's son, and he just unbelievable. It was such an emotional expression of his love for his father and everything. And the whole service, it was not a huge service. I mean, 100, 150 people there, something like that. It was all family and friends, and it was just the thing that was so impressed me about it was just the way the police honored Marty. I mean, that's what he meant to the LAPD, to all the cops. There were Oceanside police there. There were police from LA Harbor. There was a quite a array of law enforcement represented there. It was just unbelievable. I mean, it just shows you what Adam 12, Marty and Kent, and their careers meant to those guys. And it was really interesting, and I want to talk to Bill about this later, but I was talking to this one officer that was the detective in downtown L.A., and he was talking about how much good Adam 12 did for law enforcement. I mean, back then, they all called them pigs, right? And it just changed the whole image of law enforcement. And they were so grateful. And he was saying, man, I wish we had something like Adam 12 today because, all the tough stuff going on for law enforcement today. He was just talking, we need an Adam 12 today to just let these guys know that, there's a lot of good in law enforcement. And I certainly say kudos to that and certainly hope that there'll never be another Adam 12.
Yeah.
There'll never be another Marty.
No doubt.
There'll never be another Kent, and there'll never be another show like that. But we certainly hope that today's society can take a look at that and start doing something good for the police officers out there. But that was, that was kind of the service. Day. It was a very, very special event. John Ireland sat next to John Ireland and Jennifer Ireland from Rancho Leonero. We're going to hear from John later in the show. And Gary, the vet, was there. Marty's veterinarian. Gary, of course. And just a lot of great family and friends were there. So what's one of the memories you have of Marty? Give me some ideas.
So I've got a ton, but the one that is a story that we've told on the air before, but just in the recent of you talking about all the officers. This is a fun one that we just talked about not too long ago, but I got to tell it again for those who didn't. So in the old days, when we were in our old studio back in 690 forever ago, we were right across the street from the Highway Patrol Station near Fiesta Island. And every year when the Rock and Roll Marathon would come on, it was always like, we would always cringe. Here comes Rock and Roll Marathon. And there were multiple times where when we would start the radio show, because that's when we were on from 6 to 8 instead of from 7, or from 6 to 8. So it was early in the morning. So what I'm getting at is when we would get in there in the morning, there was nothing going on. But by the time we would leave, they had already had the race started. And the police, were right across the street. They're like, well, you're locked in. This is the race course. This is Rock and Roll Marathon. You're not leaving. And all you could hear was Marty say, I'll take care of this. And one of the officers recognized Marty from 1 Adam 12 and literally said exactly as you said. He goes, I became a police officer because of watching your show. And I remember the one time us leaving the studio with a police escort because it was Marty.
Because it was Marty.
It was Marty from 1 Adam 12.
Stuck there. We'd have been stuck there until 1 o'clock.
Absolutely.
I told that same story yesterday.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah, because that's
my favorite.
It's not only a favorite, but it's a classic.
That's
show
better
you what an icon Marty was. It was like, here we were absolutely stuck, and we look at Marty, and Marty would have nothing.
Yeah, I got this.
Went up to the officer, and it was like, you're Marty Milner.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It was like, follow me.
Yeah, he goes, I'm a police officer. And you know how excited he was that he got to lead a police escort for Marty, for Adam 12. It's on.
And the cool thing about Marty is, and I know you got to fish with him up in Sitka and other places, that guy was tough.
Marty,
he was 23 years my senior. He passed away when he was 83. I just turned 60. And a few years, he's got a few years on you, too.
He's got a couple years on you, right.
But he was tough, man. Nothing held him down.
Marty and I fished on a 6-day trip on the Excel together. And I was younger, I was in my teens and just as excited about it as could be. And like you say, there's a guy much to my senior that at no point was never not in the mix with the kids, and one of those times when the albacore fishing was crazy, and we had who knows how many albacore for the trip, and I can remember that everybody was, as gruesome as it sounds, everybody's bloody and albacore spraying, and here's the movie star, here's Marty Milner just in the mix with everybody else, and although it's not
the regular guy,
it was awesome. Yeah, he was a really fun guy to fish with, and to get to grow up, those are, like I said, you said it best. I've known Marty since I was 13 years old, and he loved it. I mean, Marty absolutely loved fishing, and he did. Like that was his passion.
Yeah, and what's amazing about him is he was such an unassuming guy. He loved his fans. And never tired of signing autographs or seeing people shaking hands, telling stories. Such a great storyteller.
Yeah.
One of the other things I talked about yesterday is, did I ever tell you the story about, and I know you heard it too, a lot of great Hollywood stories.
Yeah.
And, man, I just feel so blessed to be able to have spent 11 years with that great man. But one of the other things, too, and I know a lot of our listeners will probably relate to this, is sitting at the Fred Hall show in our booth. and just watching the people stare and point.
There he is.
And then finally they'd come up and say, Adam 12 or Route 66 or, whatever, and start and realize that he's just a regular guy, and he could chat with them. It wasn't, you didn't have to stand off and be scared of Marty Milner. He was just a regular guy and happy to talk to you. So that's the theme of today's story. And we're going to hear from, like I said, a lot of great people here, but a little bit about Let's Talk Hookup here, since it is our 24th anniversary on there, entering into our 25th year. One of the things we got to credit is the name. And the Cowboy was the guy.
No, I didn't know that.
Came up with the name. Yeah, indeed. We were on a fishing trip, and I had said I had started this fishing show and trying to figure out a name for the show. I had not started it yet, and Gary Vanderlyke comes up with Let's Talk Hookup.
I had no idea. Really? Nice job, Cowboy.
Cowboy. That was him. So that started in 1991, in September of 1991, and then we moved down to San Diego radio station in March of 1992, and then the rest was history, going all over the place. Just really a fantastic experience here and a great ride for Let's Talk Hookup. And we certainly hope, of course, that we can go for another number of years. And you were 14. What year were you 14?
We'll have to figure that out, because I started.
I remember you started.
Yeah, I'm 33 now, and I remember. So like I said,
that's 19 years.
Yeah, it's a fun time, because like I said, we used to listen to the show. This was a really big deal, and getting to be a part of the radio show and everything, and Dad driving me in the mornings was. Yeah,
your dad drove you in. That was when we were on 6 to 8 a.m.
Right. So
and he'd drive you in every morning after working all week, construction, getting up at 5 a.m. or whatever all week.
That's exactly the point, and I always talk about Dad. I got very blessed to have the best buddy in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Dad would, like you say, would work construction every weekend and then have to get up an extra hour earlier to then get a 13-year-old kid up and out the door and
4 a.m.
Yeah, and I loved every bit of it, and I love him for it, and you for the opportunity, and it's been an amazing year and such a fun thing to get to be a part of this show. It's just such a unique thing, and I feel so blessed to get to come to work every Saturday and Sunday morning. It's the highlight of my week to get up early on the weekends to come talk about fishing with everybody.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you here, and it's such an awesome partner to have on the show, and all your knowledge and expertise has just added that much more to the show. But one of the things that used to be fun is when I would go on a trip or go somewhere. And Marty did not like being on the show alone.
Marty hated being on the show alone.
He didn't feel, he was he was a very precise guy. He wanted, everything was organized with Marty. Everything was on the ball. And he did not like not knowing everything there is to know about fishing. So when I would go, he'd go, "You can't leave me alone here." So we go, "Oh, let's put Rock Hard Rick in there." You were what? When you first co-hosted the show, you were 15?
15 or 16, probably. Yeah, I'm not sure.
And you knew a lot about fishing, and all that, and then it was like kind of automatic.
My favorite when you would go on a trip when Marty was here, and Marty would do it. This was before I got behind the mic with Marty, and I was answering the phones and doing what Rye does right now. He would come in before the show and said, "Rick, I just want to make sure there's plenty of phone calls up there. I don't if we get slow. I don't care if you screen them. I don't care anything. Just get them up there. I want to be able to burn through them if I need to."
Talk to the people. Yeah, indeed.
And we had a lot of fun, and then like you said, just from way back then, we did it together. And Marty was so good at being able to, that's who he was, being able to rap with people, and we started every time you would go on a trip, then Marty and I would do it together. And
he'd relax, He'd start to tell his great stories about his fishing trips or whatever. And, of course, we're going to hear, hopefully, from Bob Marriott, from Bob Marriott's Fly Fishing Store. But that's how we met Marty. Bob Marriott calls me one day, and he was doing some advertising with us and promoting his annual fly fishing fair. And Bob says, hey, I got a friend, Marty Milner. You remember him? I go, are you kidding me?
Of course.
I have 12 every day. And he's like my hero. And he goes, well, you mind if I bring him into the studio? And so that's how it happened.
No
Bob
kidding.
Marriott brought him in. He was a guest host with Bob that day. That was on 690. And at the end of the show, I said to Marty, I go, I'm looking for a co-host. I said, it doesn't pay much, but you get to fish a lot. He's like, I'm in. So that's how it all worked. And that's the rest is history,
cool.
as they say. And here's history right here. It's Bart Hall. Good morning, Bart.
Good morning, Pete and Rick. How are you?
Doing great.
Good,
of course,
Bart.
we talked about the great times at the Fred Hall show, and certainly one of the things we didn't talk about was the famous Bongo's Fashion Show, and how much Marty loved Bongo's Fashion Show, right?
Well, he did love Bongo's Fashion Show. I was thinking of a lot of things, and I'm glad you reminded me of that. But the thing that got to me mostly is what you already mentioned is that from an outsider looking in, he was such an ordinary person for such a big star.
Yeah, he was.
I don't think I've ever quite seen that before, where he could relate to his fans and be that big star, but yet when you were with him or going somewhere, he was such an ordinary person. And it's interesting that you just brought that up, Pete, because this is our 70th anniversary coming up this year, and we are bringing back the fashion show.
The fashion show.
Nice.
Of course, it's Bart, and I apologize for this, but it's never going to be the same without Pat Raitt. If she was,
it will not, and that's the reason we stopped it for a while.
Yeah, she was amazing, and she loved it so much, and part of the reason that Marty and I were involved in it, other than to be associated with the show, was because of Pat. And Bongo Pat was such a wonderful person, and just did. She was so. Hopefully, you can create something close to what she had.
Well, it won't be the same. I doubt it will ever be as good. I mean, you can't do that, recreate that when a person's personality is so involved in what goes on. But like I said, that's one of the reasons I stopped, because it just wouldn't be the same. But we've had so many requests to bring it back for what she's created. So I didn't intend to talk about that, but you brought it up, and there you go. And one other thing. Now, there's two things today. We're honoring Marty, but also your anniversary. And I remember the day my father walked in to look at your booth at the Del Mar show. And said,
that was 1992, March of 1992.
Son, you need help.
Yeah. This is one of those like, yeah, this is horrible. Fred didn't mince any words, right?
No,
yeah, and it's like, you got a lot to learn about show business, kid.
Well, anyway, I want to thank you for being a part of my weekend forever since then through now. And, I'm in the middle age, but I'm older than between you and Marty. So you'll probably still be doing the show when I'm gone, but I intend to listen until that day. So thanks for being there.
Oh, thank you, Bart. And thanks for all you have done over the 24 years of Let's Talk Hookup, because without you and and your dad and the Fred Hall shows, we wouldn't be here. So thank you for that.
I'd just like to throw one story, talking about that. So how I initially met both Pete and Marty, the first time I ever really met them, was when I was in 7th or 8th grade, and I was doing a big school project. And I just wanted to tell the story with Bart on the line. And part of it was like a big English report, and we got to choose our own subject. And any time that was an offer, I always did it on fishing of somehow. I always tried to spin something. And part of it was that we do an interview with somebody in the field that we were doing this big thing on. And so I called Pete and said, hey, I've got this school project. Would you mind if I came and interviewed you for this thing that I'm doing? And Pete was amazingly gracious, as always, and said, absolutely, why don't you come down to the studio and you can sit in the radio show. And keep in mind, I was a young kid that was just infatuated with fishing, and I loved everything about it, and listened to the radio show religiously every weekend with Dad, and got to come into the studio and put the headphones on, and the guest that day was Bart and Fred Hall, and that was just like the biggest deal in the world.
Wow.
I grew up going to Fred Hall show and fishing in the trout pond and all of those things. Of course, it was you and Marty, and then Bart and Fred, and that was just like, that was over the top. That was the biggest deal, and a memory that I'll never forget, Bart. And I want to thank you, too, for all the fun times and all the memories, and it's just been so cool to get to be a part of this whole world, and it's been awesome.
Rick, watching you grow up through all this has been part of the pleasure of all of it for me. So thank you, too, buddy. This is really fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun day.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks, Bart, for the memories, and I'll see you soon.
Aloha, buddy.
All right. Thanks, aloha. Take care, Bart.
Well, as you can hear, we've just got an awesome show coming today. It's going to be a very special show and a lot of fun, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. We want to hear from you. You know, the thing that has made Let's Talk Hookup so fun over these years is having you with us, and we'd love to hear from every one of you today. So if you want to give us a call, be a part of Let's Talk Hookup. It's going to be a lot of fun.
The lines are full, so, keep on trying. Go ahead and give those numbers.
Yeah, it's going to be a very busy morning. If you want to get through, 858-457-1090. Again, 858-457-1090. Or you can reach us toll-free. That toll-free number is 877-792-1090. Again, 877-792-1090. It's going to be a very fun show of stories from the past and talking about Marty and talking about the show and catch reports and just a great show, and we would love to hear from you. And when we come back, we're going to be doing just that. We're going to be taking your phone calls, telling stories, lots of great guests. It's going to be a great time. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California sport fishing voice on the mighty 1090.
Tours is a family-owned and operated travel company that specializes in taking you to great fishing destinations. They take pride in providing the best and most affordable vacation packages available. For over 20 years, Cast Tours has been creating unique sport fishing and vacation trips. Whether it's a fishing trip, a family vacation, or an adventure, they will provide you the service and value you deserve. Call Cast Tours at 800-593-6510 or check casttours.com.
The world's most amazing beauties are on their way, and touching is encouraged.
At the Lido Boat Show, September 17th through the 20th, with the finest collection of big boats on the West Coast for you to drool over.
Actually, please don't drool on me.
Free parking and shuttle service, low ticket prices, and if you find the boat of your dreams, finance there and bring her home.
I like decisiveness.
The Lido Boat Show, Lido Marina Village, Newport Beach, LidoBoatShow.com.
Here's what clients are saying about Rick Jensen and the Sport Fishing Financial Group.
My name is Jerry Farmer, and I live here in San Diego. Rick Jensen has successfully managed investments for me for the past 15 years. Before Rick, I worked with financial advisors that led me into bad investments and hid kickbacks they were receiving on the investments. Rick has demonstrated through his attentiveness to my account a great feeling of responsibility to do well for his clients. With Rick, his compensation is reasonable and clear, as are the benefits for the client. For the past 15 years, the cost-benefit ratio has been greatly in my favor.
After learning about Rick and his background and what he's done for his clients, I'm on board. I just opened my own account with Sport Fishing Financial, and I'm very excited about the opportunity.
This is Rick Jensen with Sport Fishing Financial Group. Work with me and learn what I can do for you as an investment advisor, and let's go fishing. Give us a call or find us on the web for a complimentary risk analysis, current portfolio analysis, or business retirement plan proposal. Call 949-481-1807 or visit us at sportfishingfinancial.com.
22nd Street Landing Sport Fishing in San Pedro is home to LA's finest open party fleet, including overnights on the Freedom, Catalina Freelance on the Pursuit, half-day trips on the Monte Carlo, and 3/4-day trips on the Native Sun. Plus, you can charter the Ultra, Spectra, and True Line. There is always plenty of free parking and a fully stocked tackle store. Take advantage of the Wednesday specials on the Pursuit and Monte Carlo, and kids fish free with a paid adult on the afternoon half-day. 22nd Street Landing Sport Fishing in San Pedro. Call 310-832-8304 or book online at 22ndstreet.com.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. A spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
Here's John Ireland for Rancho Leonero.
Ranch is small, It's very personal, very intimate. I don't think there's anywhere else that you could have the old Baja feel and have all those miles of beachfront, the palapa roofs and the stone walls. There's not a room that you don't have some kind of ocean view. You don't give up any amenities at the ranch. It's just very rustic. You know how when you cook outdoors it tastes better? Well, that's Rancho Leonero. It just tastes better. We have paddle boards, we've got kayaks, we've got snorkeling equipment, of course. We've got 12 super pongas. We have dive trips. We've got over 40 kayaks at the hotel. We've got all accurate equipment, very top of the line. And when the fishing's good, we'll freeze your fish, pack it all up, send it home with you. People love it. They'll come back 5-6 times a year. That's the highest accolade we can get. 1-800-646-2252, 646-BAJA. And RanchoLeonero.com. It's unique.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
All right. Got to tell you about that big used tackle sale going on at 8 o'clock. It starts at 8 o'clock. I know Rick just talked to Doug down there at Fisherman's Landing Tackle. Our friend Ron Dargo, passed away earlier this year, and his family's selling his gear. Oh, my God. I got to preview this gear.
Dude.
If you're not headed for Fisherman's Landing Tackle like now, I know we talked about it yesterday, take advantage of this. Everything's 30 to 80% off.
I've got no problem saying this because he was a very close friend of mine, and I've worked with him forever. And he's my long-range roommate. We always shared a room when we go on the Let's Talk Hookup trip together. Rombo was a tackle hoarder. I mean, straight up.
Well, 60 rods and reels each, right? Giagras,
majority of which I want to say
Trinidad,
the majority of which are custom-made rods.
Stuff.
This was a very high-end tackle person's lifetime collection of gear.
This was his deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and jigs and belts and tools and tackle boxes. Everything is going today. And 100% of the proceeds go to Ron's family.
Exactly.
Which is cool. So it's happening today from 8 to noon at Fisherman's Landing Tackle. Telling you guys, he took really good care of his gear. It's like pristine #1 quality.
You're basically paying used price for something that is in new condition in most every case. Ron's reels, like every individual reel was in a cover with like the label of the reel that it went on. Ron is a person that took fanatical care of his gear, and he worked in the fishing tackle business for years and years. When he retired, he was a manager at Bob's Bait and Tackle forever, and then worked at Fisherman's Landing Tackle for a long period of time. And I can't even describe to you the amount of gear that is going to be out there. And you said it best, 100% of the money is going to help take care of Ron's wife.
Even Newell's, collector items.
There you go, dude.
Yeah, how about that? So check it out. It's happening at 8 o'clock today through noon at Fisherman's Landing Tackle, right out in the parking lot, right out front.
And I know you said yesterday there was a question as to whether or not a guy could use a debit card or credit card to pay for that. And yes, we will absolutely make it happen. Come on down. We'll take care of it.
Just bring your credit card, bring your cash.
Cash is going to make life a lot easier because all of the money is going to. It's not for us. It's for Ron and the family. It's for Ron's family.
But I'll tell you what. Get down there right now.
I'd be going right this second.
Take your radio with you and put on the Mighty 1090 app.
Exactly.
Follow us here on the Mighty 1090 app or your radio and
take
head on down there. John Ireland from Rancho Leonero. Buenos dias, John.
Good morning, Peter, Rick.
Morning, John.
Great to see you.
Thanks, guys. Happy 24th.
Yeah, how about that? We were talking yesterday at the service for Marty, 23 years of it with you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're dating ourselves.
You
I can't believe I'm that old.
23 years ago, you used to ride the quad and bribe the teller to use the phone, right?
I sure did. Those are good times, It was difficult. I had to bribe the phone operator up in Buena Vista so she could come in an hour early. And yeah, it was, they were just little cassetta. There were three. They had the battery crank there. They cranked the battery up, and there were 3 phones against the wall. And I was doing it, if you remember, both Saturday and Sunday for a long time. So I'd come up 2 days a week. It was great. It was actually the only time I had an opportunity to talk to people in the United States because we had no phones at the ranch, So. Good.
I love that story. That's one of my favorites, John.
Yeah, and
fond memories.
Yeah, fond memories of Marty. Since we're honoring Marty today, you were at the service yesterday with Jennifer, and what a great service.
Yeah, what a great service, really touching service. Here's a guy who was really loved. I mean, truly, truly loved by his friends. Kent McCord was just, barely could keep it together, and it just a sign of the guy. It was such a great thing for the show when Marty came on. It gave the show credibility and really gave it a huge shot in the arm, and it was a great opportunity for the show for sure. Beyond that, Marty was, the kind of guy you wanted to emulate, the kind of guy you wanted to be. He was really a man's man and very unaffected by who he was, and it's truly amazing who he ran around with. He dated Elizabeth Taylor, what a life he had, and very, very unaffected, a real normal guy, and again, you kind of judge a man by his friends and everything, and at the service, it was really touching. He was good friends with a lot of people, really affected a lot of people, and very well thought of. What a nice family as well, the whole gang, it was Judy and Molly and Andy and Stuart. What a great gang. What a good family.
Yeah, wonderful family.
Yeah, he'll be missed. For me, I really looked up to Marty. I thought he was a special guy for sure.
He was a special guy for sure. We'll never forget him.
He
no
will
doubt
be missed.
about it. Hey, so what's going on at Rancho Leonero?
Well, the water is 85, staying between 85 and 86, which is a couple degrees cooler than it was a month ago, which is a good thing. The fishing is very good. If you want yellowfin, smaller football-sized yellowfin, literally as many as you want, about 15 miles from the pier, or 15 minutes probably, not miles, from the pier right off the front of La Rivera. Lots of football to 10-pound yellowfin, literally as many as you want, mixed with skipjack that are actually a lot of the skipjack are bigger fish, so it'll be 25, some big skipjacks, big pullers. What's really interesting is they're catching yellowtail down off the banks, right off of La Rivera again. And they're going down into 200-300 feet of water, and I never would have guessed that there was yellowtail ever, especially this time of year around the East Cape. But they're picking them up consistently, 20 to 40-pound fish. What they're doing is they're going down deep and jigging mackerel, and then dropping that mackerel back down again into 200-300 feet of water and having a lot of luck. They're picking up some big parga and grouper with them, but they're catching yellowtail, believe it or not. There must be some real thermoclines that deep. It's interesting. A lot of the Ponga captains, and I think Alonzo really started that in a big way, are fishing the bottom. We're getting a lot more people that are willing to go out and fish deep, and they're picking up all kinds of interesting stuff. So anyway, we're picking up some wahoo as well in the same areas. They're hanging kind of around the tuna schools. They're picking up CD 30s only.
Big ones.
Pretty, just only Rapalas, and they won't take them if there's any wire on them at all, which tells me they should be hooking the wire up shorter. But only CD 30s and only Rapalas. Nothing else is biting. But they're picking up some nice wahoo off the front too. Billfish as usual. A lot of billfish off the front. Off the second bump there. Again, off La Rivera. Everything, all the action is very close to the hotel. So.
Well, we're looking forward to both Rick and I are going to be broadcasting live from Rancho Leonero Sunday, October 11th during our fall spectacular down there at Palmas. We'll be broadcasting it Saturday at Palmas, Sunday at Rancho Leonero. That's going to be a fun time at the ranch.
Be a good time.
I can't wait.
By the way, it's cool now. We're getting a lot of rain squalls, like one a day that rolls through for an hour or so. So it's really cooled down. In fact, I was at the service yesterday. I'm up here in San Diego. The weather. It's just about the same as here. I think the temps are in the low 90s.
It's very Cabo-like here. Well, if somebody wants to come to Rancho Leonero, John, how do we do that?
Thanks, Pete. 800-646-2252 or rancholeonero.com.
I might add one of Marty's favorite places to go, Rancho Leonero. There was a picture on our Facebook page of he holding a big rooster fish caught at Rancho Leonero, and certainly his memory will live forever at Rancho Leonero. Thanks, John. We'll talk.
Thanks, you
talk
guys.
to you next week.
Thank you, John.
Sure will.
All right. Appreciate that.
1 Adam 12, 1 Adam 12, a 211 in progress. 1 Adam 12, handle code 3.
Wow, what a fitting intro there for our friend Kent McCord. Good morning, Kent.
Good morning.
Hey,
Hi, Kent.
Great to see you yesterday on a somber occasion, of course, honoring our friend Marty Milner. And yesterday during the service, you talked about working with Marty and what an amazing guy he was.
Yeah, well, it was. the idea of being able, as a youngster, which I essentially was, as far as the film history was concerned at that time, to wind up with a man as wonderful as Marty Milner, and as gracious as Marty was, and as wonderful as he was as a performer, was, a once-in-a-lifetime thing. We had a relationship that grew. I think yesterday I had told the people who were assembled, that grew from the very first morning that we met, and, just got deeper. We became great friends. Our families meshed together almost like one, for a long period of time. We did vacations together. We functions. Marty and Judy put on great 4th of July days, and we'd come down for those. And, of course, very early on in Adam 12, Marty and Judy lived up here in town and lived in a great house on a street called Hatteras. And they moved down to Fallbrook. Marty, the other thing I was going to mention yesterday, there was a thing about Marty and his hands. You could tell Marty was a working human being. He loved to use his hands to work with things. And, of course, that went right into his fishing abilities and stuff. I'm sure you probably were with him many times when he probably put a hook into a hand or a finger.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, he had man hands. There's no doubt about it. Being moving from Hollywood to an avocado farm in Fallbrook, and he was the kind of guy that got his hands dirty, right?
Yeah, he sure was.
Yeah,
sure was.
Yeah. Kent, one of the things that is amazing, and that you talked about yesterday at that beautiful service, and I gotta, like I talked about earlier in the show, I gotta take my hats off to the officers of the LAPD and all the different law enforcement that were there yesterday. I chatted with one of the guys, and he said that they all came down on their own. It was not a group thing. It wasn't a planned thing. It was like this was an individual, a heartfelt thing that these officers did, right? And I know you worked very closely with them. They all wanted their picture with you yesterday. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, as we grew into the show, the very first thing that Jack Webb said to both Marty and me is that you're joining a very small fraternity. And, Jack Webb used to use the phrase, you got to be cleaner than Caesar's wife. And he warned us, never to try to use our position as actors on a television show about police officers to get out of any problem. He said, if you get in a problem, buy it. Do it, because it'll run through this department like wildfire if you try to talk your way out of a ticket or do anything like that. And consequently, because we were on the street and we, and neither one of us ever, I don't think ever had to do that. I was pulled over once, and I got out of the car and I said exactly what Jack said. I said, I saw the recognition come over the police officer's face. And, I said, listen, I was wrong. Write me the ticket. He just looked at me and said, for what you guys have done for us. And he kicked over the motorcycle and took off. And that was the only time that happened. Now I'm talking 44 or 5 years ago. And so, Jack was talking to two guys who took the job that we were given very seriously, and the fact that we were related to a real life, we were trying to portray real things happening to real people in Adam 12, and to do the best we could and represent the highest achievement of law enforcement. Marty and I became two ideals. It became very clear early in the show. We were working one day in a place in North Hollywood at a park, and I remember the day. Two officers stopped by in a black and white, very much like Marty and me, and walked up and introduced themselves and said, "Man, we love the show, but you're really putting the heat on us." And I said, "What are you talking about? Why?" And he said, "Because we got to live up to your image."
Wow.
And I said, "Good."
That's good.
And so in becoming that ideal, and the way that the show was structured and trying to portray just a slice of life in each episode, and doing the vignetted way that the show was structured that Bob Senator had created, the man who was the creator of Adam 12, and had to sell, saying, because people would say, why aren't you doing one crime? The show starts, there's a crime committed. Well, that's detectives work. What we're doing is what police officers in uniform in a black and white do, which is multiple things within a watch. And so those shows became shows that were bicycled, we called it, all over the country to different police departments, and episodes were used for training. And in that, it just kind of rippled through law enforcement. And to this day, and I know that you experienced it, Pete, you saw it firsthand. I get it every day. I was down at Hollywood Division researching a project that I'm trying to put together, and I went out for a night with a sergeant riding around. I spent a whole watch riding around. And when I showed up at the department, it was like yesterday after the service. We were afforded a tremendous respect by these men and women who go out to protect and to service all over the country. The show was national, of course. And the nature of film, made us every police officer. And so it wasn't just confined to LAPD. And the show is rerunning today. I've got to tell you, it's rerunning today on a channel called Cozy. Yeah. And for a long time, I didn't look at Adam 12. I'm talking maybe 15, 20 years. And then, with what happened with Marty and stuff, I started looking at it. It's one of the wonderful things about our business. I said to Judy yesterday when I said goodbye to her, she said, it's going to be okay. And I can see Marty tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Well, it's not today because it's Saturday, but every morning, as you wish, it becomes, and it's the unique thing about our industry. Yeah. There's a whole history I have with Marty Milner that's on film that recalls not just the stuff that we printed and that gets put into the episode, but all the things that happened around it. The thing like the officers coming to us, the little incidents like sitting, waiting for to be called while we were around the corner and somebody coming up and saying, "Oh, I need you to help me do this." And we'd say, "We're not real police officers. You're going to have to call,
Call the real deal there." But that's the respect that you guys got and the respect that you earned and received from other police officers, too, was just mind-boggling. I mean, the way that, I saw it, Ricky saw it, we all saw it, the respect that the officers had for you guys, for what you did for not only LAPD, but all officers across the country. One of the officers yesterday said, "We need Adam 12 today." And I think that's so true, right?
I think so. It's funny. We've almost come full circle when we started Adam 12. When in 1965 there were the Watts riots, there was the Vietnam War raging. Police officers were the front line of the establishment. They were called pigs and Gestapo, and very much what we're hearing today. Now, there's no doubt that in every organization, when you have the hundreds of thousands of police officers and the various degrees of training that occur in different departments, that you're going to wind up in a situation where emotion takes over your ability to control and to yield to your training, not to do something. And we're going to have these instances. And today, again, just because of the nature of film, when something comes up that happens and somebody acts inappropriately, it's going to be a reflection on all law enforcement that, geez, people need to really understand that the 99.9% of the men and women who wear a uniform are out there to help you, not to hurt you.
No kidding.
And I think one of the things that made Adam 12 a hit was, for the first time, we went inside of a police car. And remember, in most departments, you have you're shielded from the public. until one of two things happens. You see a crime being committed and you respond, or you get a radio call and you're supposed to respond to it. And generally somebody will say, "Where have you been? Why did it take you so long?" And, so I used to say, the problem with police is that they're losers on both ends. They're around when you don't want to see them, and they're never there on time when you need it, because it takes a moment. The response times in Los Angeles have dropped dramatically over the last couple of years, in a really concerted effort to get response times down, because every second counts when a crime's being committed.
Absolutely.
But they can't be right there. When you have a department like in Los Angeles where we've got about 10,000 men and women wearing uniform, and a third of those are off at any given time because of the three shifts. Sure. And you can't be everywhere. You can't be on the spot. Sometimes they are.
Yeah.
And I think very much we need something that shows the kinds of things that police officers do. Looking at the show again, commenting, there was a article written in the Los Angeles Times by a critic. His last name is Lloyd, and he talked about Marty's subtlety. And I look at this show and I'm astounded at how good Marty was as an actor. And I've looked at Pete Kelly's Blues recently. I've looked at Sweet Smell of Success recently. I've looked at a couple episodes of Route 66. And, of course, looking at Marty's takes, to me and stuff, different things. And you just really have to have a wonderful appreciation for what Marty did as a performer. His technique was just flawless.
He was such a pro, and we saw it here on Let's Talk Hookup. I mean, he just, and you know how precise Marty liked to be. He wanted everything to be right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he taught me so much, and I'm sure you learned a lot from the guy too, right?
I did, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
he was always prepared. It didn't matter if he had to get up at 4:00 in the morning, because we usually have a 7:00 call in the morning for 7:30. If stuff came out and he had to get up at 4:00, he had a great ability to absorb material. And I couldn't do it that way. My technique was totally different than Marty's. I needed another person to play off of, and that person was my wife. If I got the material the night before, she and I could kick it back and forth, and I'd have it. And, with Marty, he could get up and absorb stuff, and I always used to marvel at that.
Yeah, he could pick up a script and just read it, and it was just like, how do you do that? That's unbelievable. He was and the other thing you look at his fly box. Man, the fly box was perfect. I mean, it was
perfectly
just
organized, every size, every color.
Exactly. He had it all, and that's the way he ran his life, and such a wonderful family he raised with Judy and wonderful friends too. And it just goes to show you, here's a guy that Kent met a lot of people in his life and worked with a lot of people, but the guys that really stick around in your life are your true friends, and Marty was certainly a true friend to all of us.
There was a picture that was up there, and I meant to mention it yesterday. And of course, Pete, when you get up there and you're in front of the people, it's almost impossible to really to just talk.
Yeah, it was hard.
I mean, there's so many emotions washing over you, and you're trying, to control them and everything. But there was a picture of Marty in the Army, and Marty was assigned to a unit. I think it was at Fort Ord during the Korean War, and in that unit was David Jansen and Clint Eastwood, and that picture wasn't there. And then later on in life, Marty and I started doing appearances, and there was a picture of he did Francis in the Navy. Francis Goes to the Navy, I think was the name of the title of the movie. And in that movie was Jansen and Clint, and so when we started doing appearances, Marty pulled out some old photos that we would take to these appearances, and one of them was Donald O'Connor, Clint Eastwood, Marty Milner, David Jansen, and Francis the Talking Mule. and he said, I'm going to sell, I'm going to sell this thing. And I think he ordered something like, I can't remember what it was, 1,000, 10,000 pictures of this thing or something. Because we really believed, I looked at that and I went, God, I've got to have one of those. And I do have one somewhere in the house here.
Oh, that'd be great.
But nobody else wanted it.
Nobody else wanted it. Darn!
It was so funny. We're on these, and you would think, because Clint was the biggest star in the world around this time.
Absolutely.
And then you had Jansen from The Fugitive, and you had Donald O'Connor, who was one of the great entertainers, and singing in the rain and everything.
Yeah.
And so Marty said, well, I'm going to wallpaper the bathroom.
Yeah, that's a fun story.
That's so classic. Well, Kent McCord, thank you for all your great career. And I know are you still working?
I still do a little bit now and then.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you look great. We posted some pictures on our Facebook page yesterday of you with the bagpipes and the officers and that old cop car. Was that kind of vintage Adam 12?
Yeah, that was a car that a guy did. I think it's a Belvedere, and it was either the first or second season that he restored. And I've been at different functions. He was a guy who worked in a dealership near here, and he restored that car. I had signed my side of the window panel just below the side window. I don't know if anybody saw that yesterday, but I did that years ago. And, it was restored to be just like the car that Marty and I drove.
All right, Kent. Well, it was so special to see you and all those officers and the bagpipes and all his friends and family to honor such a great man, Martin Milner. I know for you, for me, and for most everybody else, his memory and good times are going to live on forever. Kent McCord, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Pete, thank you.
All right, we appreciate that very much. All right, here's a guy that started it all, Bob Marriott from Bob Marriott's Fly Fishing Store. Good morning, Bob.
Hey, good morning, Pete.
Hey, you just heard Kent, who I'm sure you knew and had at the fly fishing fair many times with Marty. Man, how when you called me up that day, you go, hey, you mind if I bring this guy Marty Milner, one of my fishing buddies, with me?
I didn't even think I told you who it was. I just asked if you mind if I brought a friend with me.
Yeah. And that day, like I said yesterday, changed my life. It just absolutely was one of the best days of my life when you did that to me. And thank you so much for that. Because Marty was, man. Now, first of all, how did you meet Marty?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Well, as everybody says, I mean, he's a hell of a nice guy and an actor, and he was a favorite actor of mine. And I had heard that he was a member of the San Diego Fly Fishers. And after one of my adventures, I went down there to do a slideshow and was standing in the back of the room while they did their business meeting. And I seen him standing back there, and I walked up and I says, good evening, I'm Bob Marriott. He turned to me and said, I've been wanting to meet you. And there was me. I was looking to meet him.
And he was into fly fishing. Man, he wanted to learn to fly fish, right?
Oh, yeah. In fact, Marty traveled around the world with me in several places.
Yeah. So one of the most memorable trips that I used to see pictures, we used to do travel adventures with Let's Talk Hookup to various clubs and events and such like that. And some of the great pictures I remember were when you took him to Russia.
Yeah, when we did the Kamchatka.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he went a lot of places with me. Marty was an avid fly fisherman. In fact, that's why he wound up. Even when everything worked out, he kept wanting me to open a fly shop in San Diego.
Yeah.
I said, Marty, you don't want to get involved in a retail fly fishing business. Yeah. Finally, he admitted that. Well, he needed some way to write off his fishing trip.
Exactly. Well, he found it here on Let's Talk Hookup, right? It was all work for Marty, right? No play, nothing involved.
Exactly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, Bob, what are you doing these days?
Oh, I'm semi-retired. I sold the business 2 years ago, but I'm still on there as a consultant. You know, you get older, you just don't want to fight the battle.
Well, you still got to be part of it so you can go traveling to all these great destinations, right?
I'm still traveling. I host trips. I got 3 slated for next year, one to New Mexico, one to Nicaragua, and then one back up to Montana so far.
Yeah, wow, fantastic. And so if somebody wants to travel with you, they can call the shop up there?
Sure, yeah.
Are they still doing the fly fishing fair?
They brought it back for a couple of years, but the atmosphere is changing. It's just not affordable, so it's over with.
Oh, that's too bad. Those were such great days. I remember we used to broadcast live up there for the event, and such great times up there at Bob Marriott's. And Bob, you are, we wouldn't know about Katmai Lodge if it wasn't for you, man. And we love Katmai. That place is so incredible, and all these incredible destinations. I think I want to go. I'm going to call you up. I want to go to New Mexico with you. I've always wanted. Marty used to talk about fishing. What's the river that you fish there?
The San Juan.
He used to talk about one of his favorite places to trout fish was the San Juan. I'm going to call you up. I want to go with you.
Yeah, we go in January about the third week. I kind of have to get out of Dodge trip because everybody's got cabin fever after the holidays.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the San Juan's pretty crowded during the season. In the third week of January, it's colder than hell. So knowing that, you dress for it. But we wind up, we have the whole river to ourselves.
It's pretty incredible,
so cool.
And it's tailwater fishery, so the temperature in the water never really changes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we got a lodge up there, it's full service, so they got a chef on board. And, 4 nights and 3 days for $950, all inclusive, except your tip's not bad.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal. Well, Bob, I'll be calling you. I might want to go on that trip with you. Have to look at the schedule.
I like a deal.
Yeah.
I wish you're going to miss the man.
I wish Marty was going to stand right next to us in the river like he did with you and I many, many times, and a lot of other people.
And a lot of neat memories. It was just a shame 11 years ago. We both were in the hospital at the same time.
Yeah. And you just had a hip replacement, but you're still going strong.
Yeah, I had to get a hip replaced 2 weeks ago, and 3 weeks prior to that, I got a cornea transplant, so I'm becoming the bionic man.
Well, you're still going strong, and glad we can still go fishing with you, Bob. Thanks for recounting the great times with Marty Milner, and thank you for introducing me and helping Marty be a part of Let's Talk Hookup forever.
I've appreciated it, and I'll always remember it, but keep in touch, Pete.
All right, Bob. Thanks a lot for the call this morning. And when we come back, Ingrid Poole is on the line. She's going to be talking about our 24th anniversary and a guy who was the first guest on Let's Talk Hookup. You know his name?
I know his name.
Bill Poole.
You better believe it.
More Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
Everyone likes special treatment, kind of feel like a VIP. Well, that's how our listeners are treated at Poway Valley Collision. I have personally heard of several stories of how well our friends Jim and Mary take care of their customers that we sent them. Poway Valley Collision is worth the drive from anywhere in the Southland. We know you may not need them today, but when accidents happen, it pays to go to Poway Valley Collision. And listen to this. Our listeners get a special discount that can save you hundreds of dollars on your car or truck repair. Just tell them you listen to the show and you get the deal. They work with most insurance companies, including Auto Club, MetLife, Wawanesa, and more. Just bring your car or truck to them and let Poway Valley Collision do the rest. I've had my truck repaired at Poway Valley Collision, and the job was perfect. So get your vehicle fixed right at Poway Valley Collision. Tell them you listen to Let's Talk Hookup, and they'll save you money on your repair. Poway Valley Collision, 14211 Garden Road in Poway. Check PowayValleyCollision.com.
Captains Mark Gillette and Chris Switzer want you to know now is the time to book your trips and charters aboard the Eclipse and Commander, the newest addition to their family. The 65-foot Commander is a super clean vessel that is low to the water, with RSW fish hold and spacious galley. Perfect for 1 to 2 day trips from Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. Come experience superior customer service, the finest fish handling, and quality food aboard the Commander. The same great service that has made the Eclipse one of the top boats in the fleet. Their slogan, "Compromise Elsewhere," says it all. The Eclipse is the widest sport fisher in her class, offering plenty of room at the rail. The Eclipse from Seaforth Sport Fishing sets the standard in quality and style for your offshore trip from 1 to 3 days. Charters and open party trips are available now aboard the Commander, and a limited number of charters are available aboard the Eclipse. To secure your spot, call Eclipse Commander Sport Fishing at 619-995-6880 or book online at eclipsesportfishing.com or commandersportfishing.com.
For East Cape fishing, Jen Wren is known as the best. This is Mark Rayer. Great service, top top-quality equipment, including all-accurate reels, CalStar rods, and Cimarron electronics, has put my immaculately maintained twin-engine cruisers in a class of their own. For memories of a lifetime, just bring your hat and sunglasses, and we'll provide a fishing experience that will exceed your expectations. Our calendar's filling fast, so don't miss out. For packages, 2 live webcams, a weekly fishery report, and more, check out TeamGenRen.com. We pick up at all East Cape resorts, so let's go fishing.
It's time for our Power Pro 60-second seminar on your next fishing trip. Get that Power Pro Advantage. And you know what the Power Pro Advantage is right now? Is that tuna is on small chovy. And what if all you had was 30 pound, which normally that's what I fish, 40 pounds.
This year, 30 and 40 has been most common.
Yeah. But you needed 20.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, that's the beauty of having a reel that's full of Power Pro, is it keeps you extremely flexible in how and can you can fish, because you can adjust your top shot so easily. And you were telling me that, fishing was really tough. Your fish were on you. You'd see the fish get up on your chum. They'd bite your chunk, but you could not get them to bite a hook bait. And so, Pete, easy. You had your reel full of Power Pro. You said you just grabbed your next spool of Seaguar fluorocarbon. You dropped down in top shot size. Boom, you were getting bites.
Yeah. John Collins knot, you're back in the water, tie a hook on, and that made the difference. So that's the advantage, the flexibility of using solid Power Pro, hollow Power Pro, hollow Ace, whatever it is, you got to have it. It's the way to go. It's today's fishing with Power Pro. Get it at your favorite tackle store. Pete here to tell you about one of my favorite long-range boats, perfect for day-and-a-half to 7-day trips. That's Searcher Sport Fishing. The Searcher offers a top-of-the-line long-range experience at the best value available. The 95-foot Searcher features huge bait capacity, RSW fish holds, and plenty of room at the rail. Chef Charles puts out a spread you will be impressed with, and staterooms are air-conditioned and super comfortable. The crew, top of the line. Check SearcherSportFishing.com for more details and book online today. That's SearcherSportFishing.com.
XRPRS 1090 AM Rosarito, Baja California.
You're listening to the home of the Padres.
Oh, rush!
San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
The fishing season started early, so now is the time to visit the best saltwater tackle store anywhere. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle. With more inventory than ever before, we know the demand is going to be huge this season, so why wait? Visit us now and get your pick of the best equipment. Hey, there are already tuna, yellowtail, and marlin in local waters, so gear up now for what could be our best season ever. Take advantage of our expert staff that knows how to outfit you the right way. Come by and see us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego or saltwatertackle.com. Fisherman's Landing has been the choice of sport fishing anglers for decades, with the largest fleet of long-range boats worldwide, complemented by Southern California's finest charter and open party fleet. From a half-day trip on the Dolphin to overnight trips or a long-range adventure, you can count on Fisherman's Landing to deliver the best. Check the website for all that is going on or call Fisherman's Landing at 619-221-8500. Book now at fishermanslanding.com.
Meet the Innovation Award-winning Yamaha V6 offshore 4-strokes at 300, 250, and 225 horsepower. These Predators are up to 73 pounds lighter than the competition. And with class-leading 4.2-liter displacements, they're up to 19% faster and up to 17% more fuel efficient at cruise RPM than comparable 4-strokes. And now they're available with Helmmaster, Yamaha's fully integrated boat control system. Meet the next generation of Yamaha V6 offshore 4-strokes today at your local Yamaha dealer. Helmmaster available with V6s purchased only as part of new boat packages from Boat Builder Partners. Want to catch the yellowfin tuna of a lifetime but don't have weeks at a time to commit trying? Then check out Journeyman Sport Fishing in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Based in Nuevo Vallarta, Journeyman offers an angling dream come true. Outstanding world-class fishery, immaculately maintained and outfitted boat, ultra-limited competition at the rail, and a Journeyman crew that has the experience and passion to make your angling dreams reality. A 2.5 day trip offers 2 full days of fishing from sunup to sundown and only requires 4 days away from your other commitments. In the 2013 season, Journeyman landed dozens of yellowfin over 200 pounds and several over 300. Choose the trip that fits your schedule. 2.5, 3.5, up to 8 days of the ultimate fishing for giant yellowfin tuna. For complete details, check the web at journeymansportfishing.com or contact 619-571-1979. Journeyman Sport Fishing, where angling dreams become reality. Information is the key to success, and inside information is even better. When it comes to fishing, inside information is critical, and that's what FishDope.com delivers. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and save fuel. FishDope.com is the only SST service with a satellite oceanographic PhD on board. The only fish finding service with a spotter plane. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Martin Island, 365 days a year. FishDope.com boasts the largest code group anywhere, covering sport boats, commercial boats, and private boaters. FishDope.com has online planning tools, moon phase, tides, hot bite icons, and more. What I'm telling you is, if you don't have FishDope.com, well, good luck. Membership costs less than 40 gallons of gas for the entire year. That's right, 1 year. What a bargain. Plus, stay tuned for the special code to save $20 on a FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
My Angler H2O. I will never use that fakey fluorescent pink bait or drag my hula popper through the mud. I will outmaneuver drought-exposed stumps, rocks, and submerged station wagons. And outsmart the ravenous river otter. I will save water by taking shorter showers for higher lakes. And I will always, always wear my life jacket.
What's your H2O? Tell us at BoatCalifornia.com. The California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways reminds you to wear it, California.
The summer fishing season this year was nothing short of incredible, and everyone I talked to is expecting continued success well into the fall season. Your San Diego County Ford dealers are having a remarkable summer too, with no sign of slowing down. They continue to hook people up with a great selection of models that offer outstanding MPG and advanced technology, like the fun-to-drive Focus and the popular Fusion, available as a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid. Ford also has an impressive list of SUVs, like Escape, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition. Well, no matter what you need, Ford has an SUV for you. And for serious fishermen that have boats to haul and gear to move, you can't beat the Ford F-150. It's not only stronger than ever, it's 700 pounds lighter, so it's faster and more efficient. Bottom line, Ford cars and trucks and SUVs are built for San Diego. Stop by your San Diego County Ford dealer today. They'll be glad to hook you up.